Hey everyone, my name is JoJo. This is Behind Our Portraits, the podcast where we tear through the images that we show this world to uncover the truth about who we are, what we do, and how we see this life. Let's get it. We are all the way in Playa del Carmen, Quintana Roo, Mexico, at the home of our guest, Sebastian. I hope you guys are ready to learn some lessons from the eco-friendly chef. Stay tuned. If you like what you hear, like what you see, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this conversation. We are in for a treat. Stay tuned. I have a very special guest with me. His name is Sebastian. We are staying at his lovely home. Sebastian, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us your name, how old you are.
Sure, yeah. Well, my name is Sebastian and I'm 29 years old, sharing my home with everyone. I'm a food researcher, but a gastronomist.
Okay.
But I also transform food, so I'm always in between, not following one path, but trying to keep it like flexible and also interactive, not for my daily life.
Okay.
Not only monotonous life, but try to spice it up.
Okay, yeah. So like you said, you're a gastronomist, so like what is that? Give us a little bit of an idea of what you do.
So I studied food science in Italy. I went studied all the way there, and he's seeing the food through the 360 degrees, like seeing all the aspects of food. So I study the biology part, the chemistry part, but not only, also the transformation, the logistics, even the cultural aspect of food and the social aspect of food. So know diversity and how food impacts a society and shape it. So it's really wide.
It's all inclusive. It's more. It's broader than we think. Oh wow. Okay. So can you explain like kind of the pathway to getting into gastronomy? So I know you said you grew up here.
Yeah, so I grew up in Playa Del Carmen, this town that when I was little, was a fisherman village, really small. Now it's developing, it's growing, lots of investment. And my idea, I grew up in nature, so you can see how we grew up. I used to live downtown, and then downtown was a jungle like this, like this. But development started coming, concrete jungle started developing, and my goal was like how to preserve nature through a profession. So I want to take care of nature. That's what my aim is. So I thought biology or studying natural some in the environmental science. But then I found out food. I've been cooking with grandma since little. So I thought, okay, maybe I take food, my tool or my concept to preserve nature in us, because I realized that we impact the environment 3 times a day at least with the food that we choose.
Okay.
So food can be from an environmental aspect to a political aspect. So when we choose what we're eating, we're giving our money to the future that we want. So that's why I went on and studied food science. So I finished my thesis, and I put it in practice here together with the Airbnb and the kitchen.
Okay.
The kitchen is mostly my thesis, and it was.
So what's your thesis? What is your?
Well, the name is Sustainable Food Supply for Revaluation of the Territory.
Okay.
So it's to give value to this territory and give an identity, because it's so touristy, because we are in the youngest state of Mexico.
Yeah.
So it's only 40 years old, 15 now, and even if we have the Mayan culture and really ancient cultures, in between the history we have lost a lot of ingredients and knowledge and traditions. So I'm trying to put back this tradition into our table, into our daily life, to don't lose diversity and also to don't lose flavors.
Yeah, so to preserve the culture.
Yeah, that's it. Preserve and also fusion it and put it in modern needs.
Okay.
We need to evolve also traditions and to keep super yeah, we have also to, because nature has been evolving, we have global warming, we have different change of the environment, so we also have for rice growing now. But the idea is to give the access to the territory and to consume as most local and sustainable ingredients as we can.
So you mentioned sustainability. So like, how do you do that? Like how, coming from like the U.S. where we like, food, we use a lot of food, but we don't utilize it in the best way.
Yeah.
So like, how do you, like you said, like preserve the ecosystem and still like give healthy food and keep it local? Like, how do you do that?
I know it sounds easier like when you live in a more natural environment or in a more like rural environment, like less developed. You're in the city and it's a little more complicated, but I think like the first step is just to start saying like where is your food coming from, where you're like eating, be like full aware.
Just be more vigilant about the
about what you're eating, just like more conscious, then like good source, because I have friends here that they don't have the time to go to the BOP place, and even myself, I have to organize myself to go there. But they trust me, and then I give like the food to them, and we can work like a community, like to try to work with a small scale. Don't lose like the human touch.
And that's what I was saying. So like community obviously seems to be like a really big deal to you. So like, are there any projects that you're working on currently right now to just bring people closer together, like keep the food in the mix?
So we are making every Wednesday like some gatherings. And,
really?
People come and we have dinners all together, and sometimes cooking classes with Pavel and Lisa, some other two chefs that I work with, and we try to promote the more than cooking, the more like playing with your hands and creating with your hands some food. Because I think the needs like to promote
the habit
and the idea of like because it's nice to know what you're eating, but then you have to transform it. So it's an entire path that we need to
be familiarized with it. And that's, I think, the hardest thing, because like I do love to cook. This is really hard because I love to cook, but I guess like the stress of like trying to like bring ingredients and do that, and like obviously like we've gotten really used to this like convenience lifestyle, and like for like when I'm here, it's not, that's like not necessarily the culture. It's more like, look at what you're eating, look at like there's intent that comes with the food. And so like I guess for me, I'm trying to get out of the convenience of things and really, like you're saying, like focus on the food that you're eating, take the time to like do those things. And so that's really cool.
No, completely agree, because it's really easy to fall in the comfort zone of eating some fast food, and that's like our biggest challenge, awareness. And also the idea is that to create an special moment while you're cooking, because cooking is a social moment and inspiring and creating moment. So it's nice that we can put that time for ourselves to stop seeing the phones or to stop running and thinking of work and just stay present and start like cooking, even if it's a simple salad or something, it can be something simple, but it's already a cooking together or making a memory together. That's like in the time our grandparents were doing that, our great grandparents were like, I think families were more together.
Closer,
because they could make these moments happen.
That's true.
And when we are like too fast, we don't even have time to cook or to eat together.
Conversate, this day, nothing like that.
And it's like we just text messages and we distance from the human touch. I think that's why food is and cooking is like a really revolutionary movement of for ourselves, for the inner peace also. No? Like if we can say like a little therapy, a little peaceful moment for ourselves, for nourishing ourselves. Like if you see it like in a ritual way. I think ancient communities thinking about the Mayans, thinking about like all the spices of the way they eat, and I'm still learning. That's the main motivation of the project was like to learn from the past to implement in the future and to fusion. Not stay in the past, but don't like forget everything and just live in an industrial and technological world. We have to mix both.
So what concepts from the old world are you bringing to?
So like a direct concept is trying to promote the agriculture system. So it's an intercropping system. It's called the Three Sisters or
Three Sisters?
Omilpa.
Okay.
So it's squash, beans, and corn.
Okay.
And we grow them in a like 1 meter square meter. Like
Doesn't take up too much space.
yeah, in a little space you have like a full meal growing
That's corn, squash, and beans.
and beans. That was like the main ingredients for developing the Mayan culture. That's why they started being nomads and they started like staying in one place and they didn't have to think more in what we're gonna eat and they were able to think
So just keeping it like
architecture
simple like
and other
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm trying to promote projects. It's like the granola that we produce in the kitchen. Is we mix it with some of these pumpkin seeds from a production that is organic. So I'm trying to give an economy to the producers, trying to enhance them, and because it's really easy. Like we fall, us consumers or producers fall into the fast food or easy to get distracted with this marketing.
Marketing, yes, yes.
The farmers they struggle the same, but in their pesticides. This new seed that they give you, they sell you. It's more expensive, but then you can produce like so much. But then you don't realize what you're putting into the soil, and you're washing it in the soil, and you can then.
I feel like does that not seem kind of, obviously it seems hard to like not fall into that like path.
And it's always for the comfort or for the. But then we don't know like the price we are paying for that comfort. Like,
Exactly.
and we are losing a moment that we could be cooking or.
That's the cost of
Yeah,
it.
that's
The
like-
convenience has a
It's a
cost.
simple way, but
Wow.
in agriculture is the same, and yeah, in many paths. So yeah, we try to also share our home with others to create this motivation and to create this connection with nature. We try to be the bridge, and we love that.
Yeah, that bond with nature.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, for those that don't know, we are literally in the middle of a jungle. Like, this is one of the most beautiful experiences I have had in life. And it's like there are monkeys jumping around, and you pick everything from the trees.
Yeah.
So, like, you grew up here. So, how was the process? This is a huge plot of like land and development. How long has this been building?
We never stopped since 23 years.
23 years.
Yeah, almost 24 years, like building little by little. Also because we got some money and we're building and also maintenance, and it's like the rule was not to cut any trees. So the design is like, who give you the design? Actually, the trees give you the design. Like, okay, we can build here and we just go around, and the rule was not to cut any tree. And now that the trees grow and the house is almost finished, give us a lot of benefits. Yeah, we get like always a microclimate here that we are like cooler than if you go downtown where all the concrete is. And then give us the beauty of living with birds and living with other species that don't think only like my property, my house is it's like
It's a shared
a
ecosystem.
yeah.
It is shared for sure. And that's the other thing, like how hard is it to like preserve? Like you're pretty much, I feel like you're living in their ecosystem.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. We came after.
We came after,
so we
right?
have to respect where we're living.
And that's when I get here, there is very much so a respect for the environment, for the ecosystem, for the birds, the monkeys, the lizards, the turtles. And so there is that love.
That's
that
love. Yeah.
So,
that's what
I
we want
love
to
it.
make people feel. Because we choose the hard path, but I think more beneficial for our future generations and for
That's crazy. So like you did grow up here. So like how has, growing up at Playa Del Carmen, how has that even influenced who you are today? Like just learning wise, like growing up, you stayed in your family, like stayed with your family, grew up with your family. Like, how has that been?
So we are in tiny generations. Like when I was growing up, we were 1,000 inhabitants.
Oh wow.
In Playa del Carmen. And now we are around, I think more, but the last number that I saw was like 200,000 inhabitants in a few years. Yeah. So I think we all came from a generation, like all my friends, and we grew up in nature environment, but with all this development. We see a lot of development, like big all-inclusive hotels coming to invest, and these condos, and this a lot of. So I think it touches in a way because we love nature. If you talk with all my friends and the generation that grew up here, they all love nature. They try to preserve nature.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do something to preserve the paradise they grew up with, we are really touched to see like so much concrete and so many people come. But at the same time, it's like the only message or like that we want to give is like, okay, it's good to expand and to grow, but growing awareness of growing around nature, growing like with nature, understanding the rhythm of it, and if you're new to a place, just try to. The message is like how, or the question most that I make or we make ourselves is like how to become indigenous again. That's like how can we
bring it back?
How can we bring it back? Because the indigenous, the how do you say the Mayans or the older cultures, the person that were here before, the way they live with nature was amazing. Like even back in the time, making gods out of nature. So okay, the rain is a god, the sun is a god, the
value nature so much.
So it's the values of nature that they put it inside of their beliefs and of their lives, and they live in completely harmony. So how we modern generations we shouldn't like forget all this nature and put it back in.
So I want to, this is a question that we came up with and I think it's really interesting. So is there a favorite dish that you'd like to prepare for other people?
Wow, that's the hardest question that I often get.
Really?
Yeah, and I always reply the same thing, but it's a little bit vague, but I think every food is good when it's like unseasoned and fresh.
Okay.
So when I'm cooking, I'm always being just creative. I have this term in France that is like the guy that there is a cook that follows the menu and the recipes exactly, and there is the other guy that from what they have, they cook. And I'm more that kind of person.
Yeah.
And I love just like opening the fridge or seeing a basket of a farmer coming and it's like I have all this. Do something and that's my favorite dish. Like really? Just like, and I think you develop like the best flavors when you're just being spontaneous and creative, and that's like I don't like to follow recipes. That's like my rebel side of me, but sometimes they ask me for something specific or and then I see like 2 or 3 different recipes and then I combine them or I do my own version of it.
You make your own recipes up.
Yeah, so.
Is it hard with the flavors though? Like, so is this something like you learned at school or you just picked up with grandma? Like, like looking in the fridge. I'm not a chef, so I can look in the fridge and be like, well, I have tomatoes, I have this, and come up with nothing. So, like, is it hard to like think of the flavors, or do you already know that just by like cooking and touching? Like, oh, this would probably pair with this.
A little bit. Yeah, I came a little bit from my grandma's side and cooking since little. We will gather all the family and cook every weekend. But then also I guess I should give also credit to the university because we I think I learned something there. Yeah. Now of course like we got like this molecular aspect of taste that we knew how our tongue is working and how our receptors react through different flavors, and we have like a chart of flavors and where we put all the ingredients and how they combine together. So we play a little bit with those, yeah, from that basics or that fundamentals of the studies, I'm trying to apply them every day. I'm cooking and okay, this gonna be taste like this, and I try to play with the textures, and it's a balance and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a replica of the life on a small scale, and when you're cooking, you're balancing the texture, you're balancing the temperatures, you're balancing if it's gonna be sour or umami or salty or sweet. So you try to maybe you put a little bit here in the tropics. We have a lot of fruits, so we cook a lot of our dishes come with fruits, and maybe we put some plantain on it, but then to reduce the spiciness or the capsicum, and we try to play a little bit.
Playing with everything.
So it's for me it's a playground. I know that there's an entire career behind it. I study and it's there.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is creativity.
I try not to think too much on the chemistry aspect and how they react. But there is that part, and then also the fun part of creating and a bit of artistic.
It is very artistic, and I do like that concept that you said, like opening the fridge and it's just like life. Like
it's life, and also because nature is like that. It's not gonna give you 300 grams of carrots and only 200 grams of this and that. And it's like, okay, I'm giving you
this is what you got.
What you got, and
it works.
It's like family. Like I have a grandma that she's all like not anti-waste. That we cannot waste. That she cries if we're wasting. Like she get angry.
No, for sure.
So we also the respect of like this already grew up, and it's already living, and already take like natural resources to come to our table, and like not to waste it.
Utilize that.
And also, because maybe we are in a generation where our families behind they fought not to have always food in the table, to have all these comforts that we have today. And we shouldn't take it for granted, and value all the ingredients that we have, and try to don't waste all these.
So how do you like conserve food? Because like food waste is a really big issue in just I guess anywhere, honestly, at this point. So it's like, how do you just take what you need? Is it just like being more conscious, or is it like learning that? Because the meal you prepared us the like freshest breakfast, and it was just fruits and like simple things that had come from the environment, and it was very filling, but it wasn't a lot of food. So like, is there a method to just like taking what you need and preparing it that way, or?
We take what we need, but also we do a lot of preservation methods. Like we dehydrate. We use the sun. We also have dehydrators. We use the oven to smoke. So we do under oil. We preserve under oil. We preserve with sea salt from the north of Yucatan. Different methods. We smoke and dehydrate.
So just ways to like utilize every single aspect of the fruit. And I think so that does make sense. So like I wonder if there's like, I guess we do have those methods back home. Like you can use an air fryer to dehydrate and utilize. Right.
Sure.
It
takes time. But it's like it seems like our modern society have less time now. Like we are always running for time, but I think it's part of a preference. What we use our time for and with, and we love food, so we try to give a good part of our time to these flavors. So we're gonna take time. It's really nice to share with somebody and do it as a social aspect. I think that if we can share it and cook with it,
I think that's beautiful. Okay, so like as far as it seems like you've learned a lot on this journey, is there any like lesson that you've taken away just in general about like life, food, preservation? I mean, it seems like this is more like a lifestyle than it is a job or whatever it is. You incorporate it to every aspect of your life. So is there like a lesson you would just like to share as far as things that you've learned?
I think one lesson is that I realized that you never stop learning. It's like you keep learning all the time. And it's like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. after studying, I came back home to understand and to learn more. Because it's like I understood how little I bring from my territory in abroad. And then, so I came back here with the knowledge, but with the open mind of learning all the time.
Yes.
So that's like a lesson for me or that I learned and that I'm still learning is like keep the mind open because you can learn from anyone and from every moment. Like just every day is like a new lesson of life. You know? And I think we should always don't think that okay, we know everything now and this ego and this okay now we always even like to value everyone. No? The lady in the corner doing the tamales by hand and the technique that she had because everybody's got a story, to learn and a different perspective. So it's really nice to be open to that and to keep learning from everyone.
Not just keeping it close.
Just close mind and again, what we were saying of keep it diverse and open to not only one path of life, because nature is taking from everywhere. It's not only sound that it's taking, but the brain and the soil and the nutrients. It's like we are not only one source of knowledge of things. It's like keep it diverse and open mind and I keep learning all the time. With the bees, for example, there is a side project that I'm working with Efrain, a good friend of mine that is indigenous from here. I came from a degree, from a study, and from like knowing
all the
chemistry. And sometimes we think we know everything. It's like, but the simple things of life are there, the day-to-day life. And you just go with him that he don't have a degree or he don't have all this paper stuff, but he knows so much, like more than what I know about bees. And I've been learning from him already for 5-6 years.
What got you into the beekeeping? Was it just something to do, or was
the thesis got me there because I was looking for local ingredients that can give me the key to the past.
So honey?
Ingredients. So honey is like really ancient, and there is a codex, there is a piece of papers and a piece of stones that they make the good codes, the Mayans, to tell future generations like us how to do beekeeping.
Oh wow!
So they don't lose all this knowledge. They put it with drawings and with the letters that are codes, and so that they don't lose this beekeeping culture or story. And we try to follow that. It's tricky because their own interpretation. Nobody knows how to learn and to read Maya nowadays. He's been doing beekeeping since all his generations. My friend, Efrain, and his last name is Cab, which means bee or honey. So before lights, they were giving last names depending on the
their job or
their jobs. I think
that's crazy.
One more. But it's crazy to know that. And so he's been doing beekeeping since many generations. So he knows the knowledge passing through. And, I think like trying to support him is tricky because you always fall into conservation of the species, and then you need also commercializing. So it's like, okay, how do we balance? Okay, you need to do some money out of it to live, but also preserve and give something to the nature and to the ecology, to the society. So it's really hard to commercialize the honey, like to sell the honey. So we started with some tastings, we started giving an adoption, some beehives. So some locals can continue doing some beekeeping and have them at their home, and also nature get advantage of that because they're pollinators, and the more bees you have in a green space, they will give more pollination and more fruits. So
that's a really big deal. You're actually really trying to bring this back.
Trying to do with all the ingredients little by little, but this is like the most alive sign of the Mayan culture that I found still in current society,
Wow.
modern society. So the Mayans, I don't even know how many years ago.
Yeah.
Now they're saying that it's double the time that we thought there was.
Mm.
The Mayans were from the east side is an entire community that you see there, and it's a perfect representation of utopia society. It's a really unique structure. When you see a living being or living thing like in synergy, living around,
Yes.
it touches you somehow.
Yeah.
We learn a lot.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I feel like that's a really not only a way to keep you in touch with nature,
Yeah.
but actually like bring that back and share it. I love that you're sharing and donating beehives.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can literally help you build your own ecosystem. I mean, so this is another thing. So like me personally, I am trying to develop myself. That's part of the reason with like traveling and meeting different people from different cultures and stuff, and just trying to really figure out my life journey and be settled in my purpose, you know. But like everyone, I'm sure like everyone has their doubts and stuff. I'm wondering, have you had any doubts about your journey, your passion, and where you're at, or has it always been something like from little, knowing like, no, this is my thing, this is what I've got.
I think food, I have a career that it was since little, like since middle age. I was like always with food. I wanted to be a pastry chef at the beginning, doing sweets mostly. Of course, through the path, you know the passion is there, the love, the dedication is there. But I think it's always necessary to fall in these like gaps or these uncertain
Uncertainty,
Yeah,
just kind of
or
let
just to-
yourself be in the uncertainty and
to
figure
question
it out.
yourself like, oh, but I'm in the wrong path, because many times we want to share this lifestyle with everyone, and then many times we have crashed against the wall that like people from big cities that they already have their lifestyle in their apartment, in their burger, you know, like this, and it's like, well, maybe we are the wrong, and not that sometimes I have questions, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe
Am I doing what
Yeah,
I'm supposed to do? Is this my life?
yeah, but then you find you see that there is diversity, you know, there's people that don't like certain stuff or other stuff, or that they do like what you do or they don't do, but which is fine, you know? It's like it's good to
Everyone is there, they're on their own path.
on your own path, and it's good to respect each other, because at one point, like younger me, I was more like pointing out, like I started with my family, I have some family in Mexico City or in some big cities, and I was like criticizing the lifestyle, this is not sustainable, or this meat. I also had a vegan period of
life.
and I was telling them, no, this is wrong, this is bad, you're polluting, but then you're like fighting others instead of, we should also, what I learned is like to be more respectful, and to, one of them to fight them is to invite them, you know, like if you're with somebody and you go and you punch them, it's like, okay, they will
They're not
trust you, I won't hear what you
Yes.
say. But if you invite them to a party, or to invite them to what you
Bring
are
them
a
in.
little bit, then you open minds, and at least they know that there's another perspective of the world, another side, and then they choose. No,
Is there, as we're wrapping up here, is there anything that you would like to share to the general public? Anyone you want to support, any ideas or projects you would like to support or pay into? Like, what you got going on that you guys
no, I guess I want to support people that follow their dreams. No, that's the main thing, right? If people can put their hearts before money and before all these distractors, no, like before you ask me, like if some parts of my life I felt distracted, and yeah, some parts there are a lot of distractors that they take you out of your path, or what you feel,
Thank you.
Yeah, I can
Thank
see.
you for having me.
I can see that you're like also following somehow your passion, your path. You're creating. So I think
Yeah.
that's the key. Like we should be more creative. Everybody should don't lose their creative path, their passion path. That if we live a society with more creation, respect, and passion, I think we'll have the
Be more well-rounded
yeah,
individual.